Ryan, I appreciate you taking the time with us today to talk to us about your path to Portland. What was your introduction to soccer when you were younger?
I kind of grew up really playing all sorts of sports. Parents put all the kids in all the sports, kind of a daycare type thing. So, but soccer was good. Just went through the normal travel soccer or club soccer routes when I was young. So.
You're high school's leading goal scorer. You're outside back now. When did you make that transition?
High school was actually really important for me. I was I think I liked to play basketball more than soccer going into high school. So my freshman year, I was a skinny little kid, and my high school coach just kind of took a chance on me, was like, hey, I want you to play varsity. I had no idea what was going on. I did my best, but he really opened up the door for me to be more serious about soccer. He brought me into the ODP program, and then sophomore year is when I focused on soccer itself. And then I went through as an offensive player in high school.
Did you play up top or?
Played up top, played in the middle, played out wide, everything but defense. But then I went to college. I was recruited by Bobby Clark, and he really saw me from the get-go as a right defender. So I went into college, and that's pretty much what happened.
Speaking of Notre Dame, you had a very accomplished career there. When was the first time you actually thought that you could become a professional, make a living doing it?
I mean, I think, I was just like every other kid with hopes of being professional, going into college and kind of just growing up in general. But I think, as a reality, I think it hit me, somewhere around junior, senior year, where I was like, I can do this. I like doing this, and it's something that is worth working for. So that's probably around the time.
You spent a few years in Columbus and DC before going over to Sweden. First of all, talk about your personal experience over there. What did you learn about yourself, and what did you learn about the United States that you hadn't before?
It was a great move for me personally to kind of learn about myself. I was on my own, living on my own, in another country where, okay, they spoke English, but, they're Swedish, and at the same time, I did a lot of traveling in my off time, so went to countries that didn't speak English and kind of just had a good time, kind of found myself personally and learned a lot about myself. So,
well, you go over to Sweden playing only a few games here with the MLS teams, had 85 appearances over in Sweden. What professionally did you learn over there?
Yeah, I was able to get game in, game out experience, and that you learn everything in those situations. If you're not playing games and you're training, you can only learn so much. There's a lot to be said for experience. You're put in situations that you're not put in training, and you've got to figure out. So it was great. The game experience was really what did the most for me. I'm a better professional because of it, and then at the same time, you figure out the little things off outside of the games, where your work ethic, what types of things you need to do to stay healthy, your nutrition, everything like off the field. So I learned a lot in that time period.
You had a lot of connections coming here into Portland. Caleb recruited you. You have George Jostin, who's a friend of yours, played with Bright DK. Was it a lot easier for you to transition over here, knowing that you knew some people?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's what basically came down to my decision came down to those little things. Caleb, I remember Caleb walking me around Indiana campus, telling me all sorts of different things. Back when I was 18 or 17 years old. So yeah, that came into play. And then of course, he went to Akron, and we had a few bouts there as well. So that was important. And then I spoke to my former teammate George Jostin, who's also one of my very close friends, and he had just wonderful things to say. And then of course DK, I played with DK for 2 years, and at Notre Dame, and had a good time with him. So
Last question, you just started your Portland Timbers career. How do you want to be remembered by the fans when your time is up with Portland, however long that might be?
yeah, I think I would want to be remembered for my work ethic, and kind of that I leave everything on the field and give everything for the team. So it makes it easy with the Timbers Army shouting at you the whole game, but I think that's most important for me.